Punky Brewster won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Die Hard.
Oh, yippee-ki-yay, Father Christmas.
The reason that we're doing the Is It a Christmas Movie month is because of Die Hard.
Yeah. And the reason why we saved this for Christmas Eve is because one of our few traditions is that every Christmas Eve we get together and watch the original Die Hard.
That is correct. Christmas Eve, every Christmas Eve. And looking forward to watching it again tonight.
Yeah.
Take yourself back to 1988 in January.
Well, you didn't sound very excited when you said that, though. It was very generic.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to do that again?
I think the audience deserves a little bit more enthusiasm.
I am so excited.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Take yourself back to 1988. January 26th, The Phantom of the Opera opens on Broadway in the United States, where it becomes the longest-running show of all time.
And makes it, gives a lot of hope to burn victims for love.
Well, that's true, and that's good.
Yeah. He didn't look like the original Phantom of the Opera.
No.
Did you see that?
The original guy? Oh, he's creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that nose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
the
man.
weird, yeah.
This guy just had a really cool half mask.
I am just burned.
Did he ever? I never saw it because I loathe musicals.
Yeah.
Most musicals. But did he ever take the mask off? Is there a reveal? Is there a Darth Vader reveal?
I've never seen The Phantom of the Opera.
Not even the movie?
Nope.
Wow.
I hate musicals more than you do, Jim.
I don't know. Well, maybe. I did direct a musical.
Yeah.
It was a damn good musical.
It was a good musical, yeah.
Emperor Norton. Shout out to Marty Axelrod.
Yeah, there you go. Pulled that one out.
And
his wife.
And his lovely wife. Kim Olenson. Olenson.
Ohannison or something.
Ohana, yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, Kim and Marty. Shout out to them.
Kim and Marty. They were awesome.
Yeah,
They were
and it
really
was a
good
great
people.
play, Emperor
It was a
Norton,
good play.
based on real events in San Francisco. Look it up, Emperor
It was
Norton.
good times. February 17th, the 1988 Oshakati bomb blast. A bomb explodes outside the First National Bank in Namibia, killing 27 and injuring 70.
Who did it?
No one ever took credit for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a lot of bad things going on in Namibia at the time, in the late 80s. May 4th, an explosion in an industrial solid fuel rocket plant in Henderson, Nevada, causes damage extending up to almost 10 miles away, including the Las Vegas airport.
Anybody die?
No.
Who was responsible for that?
The company.
Yeah?
They were doing very illegal things there.
Did they
were
have
not-
a branch in Namibia?
No, I don't think it was a solid fuel rocket plant that blew up outside of a bank.
Oh, you never know. Yeah. Well, they might have been transporting their rocket fuel
Solid
in Namibia.
fuel, rocket fuel, yeah.
Is that where the secrets of Namibia comes from?
No.
With the rats?
No. Totally different.
All right.
Spelled differently. July 15th, Die Hard is unleashed on an unsuspecting audience.
Yeah.
And becomes a great movie. Also, again, a movie about Christmas that was released during the summer.
Really?
Yep.
Man, I totally have the wrong memory of this because I thought I saw it during Christmas.
You could have, because it was still in the theaters by the time Christmas came around.
Yeah, well, maybe. I know that I saw it in San Diego. I was in college at the time.
Okay.
Because it was 88, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was a freshie.
Freshy?
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, boy. But, I remember seeing it, but I thought it was like around Christmas time, but it was probably at the summer. It was just at night. I was with my buddies at night.
How
Riveting
did
story.
Die Hard? Yeah, how did Die Hard get started? Jeb Stewart, the writer, was in between contracted jobs and he needed money. This is why Die Hard was born, because he needed money. His agent Jeremy Zimmer contacted Lloyd Levin, the head of development at the Gordon Company, Lawrence Gordon's production company, who ended up going on to produce the film.
Right.
Levin asked Stewart to work on an adaptation of the 1978 novel Nothing Lasts Forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
Written by former police officer Roderick Thorpe.
Nothing lasts forever. The new novel by Roderick Thorpe.
Exactly.
Damn, that's an awesome name and an awesome name.
It's fantastic.
Ooh, I got chills.
He had been inspired to write Nothing Lasts Forever by a dream he had in which armed assailants chase a man through a building after watching the 1974 disaster film The Towering Inferno.
Now, Did he have the dream after the Towering Inferno, or did these guys start chasing him after they watched the Towering Inferno in his dream? Yeah, think about that, buddy. Inception.
Fox had adapted the book's 1966 predecessor, The Detective, for a 1968 film starring Frank Sinatra as NYPD detective Joe Leland, and purchased the sequel rights before Nothing Lasts Forever had been written.
The Detective, starring Frank Sinatra as Joe Leland.
Yeah.
In theaters, 1966.
1968.
In Technicolor.
Yeah. Good to see old Blue Eyes and his blue eyes. Levin gave Stewart creative freedom as long as he retained the Christmas in Los Angeles setting. The film was actually pitched as Rambo in an office building, which I find ironic since literally every action movie after Die Hard was Die Hard in whatever.
Right, and Rambo...
It's not, yeah.
Rambo is like the first... Unless they're talking about Rambo 2.
Yeah,
but if they're talking about First Blood, it's this
no.
story about a Vietnam vet getting abused to the point of having to fight back against a sheriff who doesn't care.
Yeah.
And deputies who go along to get along.
It wasn't called Rambo, was it?
No, it was called First Blood, baby.
First Blood, that's what it is, yeah.
Such a good movie. Can't wait to do that
great. Yeah, it's a great movie.
I go find his legs. Where was his legs?
Producers Lawrence Gordon and Joel Silver hired director John McTiernan because of his work with them on the 1987 action film Predator.
Oh, yeah. And again,
great movie.
Silver, man. We talked about him with our other Christmas movie. Silver was the man in the 80s and 90s.
You wanted something done, Silver did it.
You wanted an action movie done.
Yeah.
You want, that was Joel Silver. He and Lawrence Schuler Donner, they produced just about everything.
Yeah. McTiernan agreed to direct on the condition that the film would have some joy and not simply contain mean, nasty acts seen in other terrorist films.
Which is ironic, because if you ever see an interview with John McTiernan, he is like the grumpiest, most joyless person I've ever seen. Funny as hell, but just like, I don't care. What are you talking about? I don't care. And he's got resting... He's got anger face. Yeah. Yes. He's got not even anger, just like resting put out face. Or
resting,
just like
get off my lawn face.
Like he's been waiting for 3 hours in line at the DMV. That's his demeanor. It's just so funny. I'll do it if there's joy. There's got to be joy.
So Stewart began writing. He worked 18-hour days at his office in Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, left him exhausted and on edge. He had an argument with his wife, and he went for a drive over Mulholland Drive. He saw a box in his lane, and unable to avoid it, accidentally drove over it. And yeah,
this is just such a stupid screenwriter.
He pulled over on the side of the freeway, his heart pounding. He realized that he shouldn't have been fighting with his wife because he could have killed a baby or something in a box. And so that's where he got the central idea.
The old baby in a box.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. It
was L.A. in the 80s. There was a lot of babies in boxes.
Whatever it was, it worked because he went home and he wrote 35 pages that night after reconciling with his wife.
That was a quick reconciliation. Hey, honey, look, I'm sorry. I got to go.
I got writing. Yeah. But that's just where the idea of them fighting, McClane and his wife fighting. and
Which is so great, man. I mean, that adds a real human layer to this story.
Yeah, 100%. Having no experience writing action films, Stewart drew on his experience writing thrillers, focusing on making the audience care about McClane, Holly, and their reconciliation. Stewart pitched the story to the executives, Lawrence Gordon interrupted him, told him to complete a draft, and left.
Wait, said what?
He just goes, complete a draft, and then he left the room.
Oh, because okay.
He was like, it's whatever, it sounds good, finish it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
Don't tell me about it, show it to me.
He finished the first draft 6 weeks later.
Good, that's good.
Yeah, he did a good job for first draft. Nothing Lasts Forever, the book, was much more cynical and nihilistic. Leland's written as an experienced older man working as a high-powered security consultant.
Have you read it?
No.
I'm surprised.
No.
I should get that for you for Christmas one year since you love that movie.
It's very different, so that's why I've never read it.
Well, I'm hoping to do an adaptation of it when I turn 60.
All right. Stewart rejected the novel's tone for being too sad and believed an older action hero, the main character being over 60, was nonsensical.
Liam Neeson would beg to differ.
And also ironic that now John McClane has... I'm pretty sure the last movie he was almost 60.
Oh, he was in his 60s.
Oh, was he? Oh, yeah.
They're doing a new one, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing another
70,
one.
Isn't he?
He's gotten old. Yeah.
I love him to death, but he's in that Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
I love him, man. I've loved him ever since Moonlighting. I love the guy. He's in that stage where he's starting to look like an old woman. Where these actually, they start looking like old women.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to happen to all of us, man.
Yeah.
It's inevitable, but it's just like, it's so sad when these tough guys get in that old lady phase, and you're just like, oh, geez.
Oh, geez. A fan of prominent Western film actor John Wayne, Stewart was inspired to carry Western theme throughout the script, including the cowboy lingo.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, exactly. He befriended a construction superintendent at the under-construction Fox Plaza in Los Angeles, where they shot some of the film, allowing him access to the building to gain ideas on how to lay out the characters and the scenes.
I bet you that construction guy loved that. Here comes Joe Hollywood again. Oh, that guy's got so many questions. The reason why the building
took so long.
Yeah, it was because they never got anything done because they always had to show this guy around.
Chip Stewart was.
Now tell me a little bit more about these metal braces that you have here. If I push somebody through it, would it make the whole building? Oh, jeez, no, it's not. It's not. Look, you're not looking at a load-bearing beam here. Jeez. Ugh.
He delivered the finished screenplay in June of 1987. It was greenlit the next day because 20th Century Fox needed a summer blockbuster.
Nice timing.
Yeah. So casting. So they went on. They had to offer contractually. They had to offer the movie to Frank Sinatra. Now he was 70 at the time.
Hey.
And he was like, "Yeah, no.
Look, I'm tired. I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm not going to go jumping and hooping and jooping through buildings. And wait, you want me to be... This takes place mostly in the air ducts. Oh, this is stupid. This is dumb.
So, yeah.
What's my name? Oh, didn't he have Alzheimer's? Jeez.
I don't... Did he?
I don't know. I think he started losing it towards the end.
Well, yeah. So they offered the part after he turned it down. They offered the part to various major stars, including Sylvester Stallone, Richard Gere.
Hey, look.
No.
Holly, how did you know? What did you do? What did you change your name to De Niro?
Oh, my God. Okay.
Hey, now I got a machine gun.
Richard Gere, Clint Eastwood, Harrison Ford, Burt Reynolds, Nick Nolte, Mel Gibson, Don Johnson, Richard Dean Anderson, Paul Newman, James Caan, and Al Pacino.
Basically, hoo-ah, hey.
Literally everyone.
Yeah.
They literally offered this to everyone, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he wanted to do comedy, so he turned it down to do Twins.
Which is great, because he'd be so much better in Twins than this. Because, first of all, he wouldn't fit in all of the air ducts. He's too big, bulky guy.
No, it would not. Except for Richard Dean Anderson, they were trying to get it to be an action movie star. Bruce Willis was popular because of Moonlighting, starring opposite Sybil Shepherd.
When we're going to do a show on that show, that show was a juggernaut. And it was different than any other show on television. And that show was the first show that I remember that the behind-the-scenes hoo-ha was like just as popular as what was going on in the show. It was always like, Sybil Shepherd, she's not getting along with Bruce Willis. And then they do like weird shows because they both be such little prissy brats and wouldn't do the show because they're just little jerks.
Right.
So then they have to do a whole show with like the ancillary characters or whatever. But when they were on the show, baby, it was magic.
Right. He initially declined, much like everyone else, because of his contractual obligations to the show. But then Sybil Shepherd became pregnant.
Nice.
Got
Do you think he planned it? Do you think he went in?
He did.
He did like a sneak attack on the condoms. I'm plugging holes. I really want this movie.
So, but this is the fascinating thing, is that they shut the show down for 11 weeks because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, they just shut the whole show down.
Yeah.
They didn't try to hide it. It's like, they just were like, okay.
Well, I think her pregnancy, it wasn't one of, I think, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I thought it was like one of those bedridden kind of like.
Oh, she literally could not.
Yes,
do
she
anything.
couldn't.
Oh, okay.
You know, it wasn't like a jump around.
Right.
You know, Modern Family pregnancy where they just hold a laundry basket or for some reason have presents. Where do you want this medicine ball?
I've got a giant purse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it gave Willis enough time to do it. So he took the part. He got $5 million for the role.
Yeah. Which was a lot of money back then, man.
Oh, it made big news. I remember.
Yeah.
20th Century Fox justified the figure by saying Die Hard needed an actor of Willis's potential.
Yeah. Well, this also cemented him as a star.
100%.
This took him it is a rare, just ask our buddy Tom Selleck, it is a rare jump from TV to film. If Selleck would have gotten Raiders of the Lost Ark, he would have been one of the biggest movie stars of all time.
Oh, yeah.
You know? It's timing and that kind of thing that just, you can't make it happen. It's lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And the fact that he got this turned him from, a TV star into a movie
he
star.
was huge, yeah.
Because his other movies, didn't do that well. Blind Date did okay.
The only thing he had really done before this was Blind Date.
Yeah.
And it was okay. Yeah, it didn't cement him as being a movie star. Gordon said that Willis's everyman persona was essential to conveying the idea that the hero could actually fail. And then Willis said,
"They paid me what they thought I was worth for the film and for them. Even though he's a hero, he's just a regular guy. He's just an ordinary guy who's been through extraordinary circumstances. God, I'm so grumpy."
Rickman was already in his early 40s
Hello.
as he made his screen debut as Hans Gruber. He was cast by Silver, who had seen him perform in a Broadway play as the villain.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is so
Alan
good.
Rickman's amazing.
So good. And I just remember he was one of the first, really captivating villains because he wasn't he had the gravitas of a supervillain or whatever, but he had the humanity of a person.
He could have been anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like, even now he was also like, shall we get her on the couch? Would that be okay if we put her on the couch?
He was a charming villain. It was brilliant. It was a brilliant take.
Okay.
Bonnie Bedelia was cast at Willis's suggestion after he saw her in the 1983 biographical film Heart Like a Wheel.
Heart Like a Wheel. That, where she was like a race car driver, right?
Heart Like a Wheel was about the first female drag racing champion, which also starred Hoyt Axton. Heart Like a Wheel. The only other thing that I thought was interesting about it was that it was shot by Tak Fujimoto, who worked with Jonathan Demme and Howard Deutsch and M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, one of the best cinematographers of all time.
Yeah. Reginald VelJohnson appeared as Al Powell in his first major film role at the suggestion of casting director Jackie Birch, with whom he had worked previously. Robert Duvall, Gene Hackman, Lawrence Fishburne, and Wesley Snipes were all considered for the role.
Well, wow. Could you...
All over the place
I'm
there.
sure they were considered for the role. I'm not sure that Gene Hackman was broken up that he didn't get the part of Al. Wait, what are you talking about? Wait, get my agent on the phone. I didn't get Al. I've been working on that part for the last 3 months. And Robert Duvall too. I bet you he was just.
I'm sure he was hurt.
When I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Ellis, the guy you may not remember. Ellis was.
Can I just say something? Reginald VelJohnson. He has played the same part for the last 50 years. I bet you people see him on the street and think he's a real cop. I bet you for a long time people are like, "Get the police! There's a cop!"
Well, it's because of right around the same time as when he got cast in the TV show
Family Ties.
No, not Family Ties. I don't remember the name of it.
Urkel in the moon.
The Urkel Show. Yeah.
Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Yeah.
But he was essentially playing the exact same character.
My friend Darren's voice sounds exactly like his voice. They have the exact same cadence.
He does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the character of Ellis, who was the infamous guy who hands Bobby.
Hands.
Yeah. A lot of cocaine.
I give it to you.
He was portrayed by Hart Bochner.
Hart Bochner, baby.
He was a friend of Joel Silver's.
Another awesome name, man.
I know.
You don't see Hart Bochners anymore.
No.
Now it's like Rose Feliger or Zimpel de Kazumba, whatever, but it's never like Hart Bochner or Dirk Mickles or Stone Rockford or, it's always like,
Are they all characters in the Flintstones?
Yes. Flintstones had it right, man. They were tough.
They shot his part in chronological order over 3 weeks. McTiernan wanted the character to be suave like Cary Grant, but Bochner conceived of the character's motivations coming from cocaine use and insecurity.
Yeah, and self-preservation.
McTiernan hated how he performed the character.
Oh, sure. Because
Hated
he
it.
so hated. Okay, this movie has probably the most hateable character. Look, the 80s and 90s were the prime time for hateable characters in film and television, like insipid
Yeah.
characters.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And there are like 3 actors that played them all. I feel so bad for these
Hateable.
guys.
I know.
Because you know how dumb people are. They just be like,
Yeah.
you're a jerk, buddy. And
I'm
it's like,
gonna punch you.
I'm just playing
Yeah.
the part. They wrote the words for me, buddy. But this movie was so good at having and it wasn't the bad
Yeah.
guys that were insipid characters. It
No.
was the reporter and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, and another thing about the 80s and 90s with the comeuppance.
Oh, yeah.
I always had to have the
always.
comeuppance. And the comeuppance was always a sock to the face, baby.
Or-
the comeuppance was always violence.
Getting shot in the face.
Sure, well, yes, which is violence. Part of the whole violence oeuvre.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's how they dealt with dealt with everything with a punch in the face or a shot to the noggin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's true. Violence solves everything.
Did back then.
So despite
Good
the
things,
fact,
things have changed.
despite the fact that McTiernan hated the performance, because Gordon and Silver loved it, he didn't change anything.
Fine. I hate it.
My guess
I
is
hate
that
performance. but
Lawrence
fine.
Gordon and Joel Silver probably identified with Hart Bachner's character.
When they were all doing coke, they're like, "This is great. This is great. It's character ever. Yeah, I love it."
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about the filming.
Like Zoinks, man. It's Shaggy. And Ruby-Roo. And like when we're cruising around in the Mystery Machine, man, we're like always listening to the Gen X Files. With Raymond Random. Now on Spotify. New episodes every Friday. All celebrity voices are poorly impersonated. Filming.
Yes. So after they had gotten to this point of the first draft being done and casting and everything, they hired Stephen E. D'Souza to rewrite Stewart's script because he had experience writing action and comedy. He had previously written 48 Hours, Commando, and The Running Man.
Nice.
Yeah.
But Running Man was really written by Stephen King. Or should we say?
Did you see the movie?
Yeah,
Because
it's exact.
not-
It is so true to form. The original, if you haven't read the original Running Man,
It
so
is-
good.
It is one of my favorite Stephen King stories ever.
It's the most 80s adaptation of any movie
Yes.
ever. If you want to like encapsulate the 80s into what they thought the future would be like, it's The Running Man.
We're definitely gonna have a Running Man episode.
we have to.
And it's amazing. It's like someone
Everybody wrong.
It's like they took Stephen E. D'Souza in and they go, hey, it's a movie about a guy on a TV show set in the future, and that's all he heard.
Now I see gold costumes.
One of the few this is the other thing that's interesting about Stephen E. D'Souza. He's one of the few screenwriters whose films had a cumulative box office of more than $2 billion.
Yes, and he probably made $180,000.
Yeah, I don't think he
No,
really
he's made a lot of money. No, once you
He's
get to
done
that
fine.
point, yes.
He's done fine.
Don't weep for D'Souza.
The only time you should weep for D'Souza is knowing that he made Street Fighter. He wrote and directed Street Fighter. He did not direct a single movie after that.
Yeah, well, was that his first?
No, he had directed a couple things before that, but he did not direct anything after
Yeah,
that.
look, man, that's a uphill battle picking a video game. Nobody's ever done that.
Stephen E. D'Souza is a fascinating person because I wrote a play that was partially inspired by Die Hard, a Christmas play, and he actually came and saw it.
Really?
Yeah, and I got to meet him and talk to him for a while. But like he's like, yeah, I always look at all the bylines, and if they have something to do Die Hard, I go see it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe he'll listen to this show.
I will try. We'll
Now I
tag
feel
him.
like an ass. Look, man, you're awesome.
Yeah,
It's not your fault that Street Fighter killed your career.
yeah, it was a bad
They would have done it to anybody.
There's some great articles about it. He's very open about it, but it was, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You don't make a movie about a fighting game. It's
Yeah,
like they
it-
pick all
not-
these
yeah.
dumb games. It's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. The reason why The Witcher works is because there's a whole lore.
story.
Like
There's a
Yeah,
story.
but there's also like a whole world behind it.
Right, exactly.
You could pick story. It's like Star Wars or
can't-
Star Trek or any sort of world.
This is
building.
why I've never understood like Mortal Kombat. It's like you can't do a movie
Pong,
about a
the
fighting
game.
competition. It's just not interesting enough.
Coming this summer, Frogger.
So the most interesting thing that Stephen E. D'Souza did and added to the story was that he approached it as if Gruber was the protagonist. He said,
If he had not planned the robbery and put it together, McLean would have just gone to the party and reconciled with his wife or not. You should sometimes think about looking at your movie through the point of view of the villain who is really driving the narrative.
it was interesting because it really is like it's Hans Gruber and John McClane are like the two main characters. I mean, like it is an interesting. I don't think it had really been done before that.
It's a cat and mouse game. Yeah, I don't think it's been done like that because they're not equals at all.
No,
you know, Bruce Willis, the John McClane, at least in this movie, you know, is just a guy.
Yeah, he's not, and he's not the big superhero.
No, because he gets beat up and bloody. I mean,
nasty,
you know, look
nasty,
at his
nasty.
gross.
His shirt that becomes black.
Yeah, just like it starts off as white and then, you know, I used to go to the Nakatomi building all the time when I worked for ILM, and there was a time where they were doing some construction.
On
one of the floors, and it totally looked like Die Hard. And I went up there. Every time I would go in, though, I would take off my shoes and socks. And I would strip down to just my pants and a tank top.
Yeah.
And then I just like go running in there and sliding around and be like, everybody get to the roof! Everybody get to the roof!
Break a bunch of glass.
Yeah. I'd
just run around.
I'd throw glass bottles on the floor. Man, I got arrested 6 times.
Wow.
Out of 8.
He's doing it again.
Got
Just turn the lights off. Pretend we're not here.
Yeah, I'm lucky I didn't get fired.
The script continued to undergo changes up to and during filming. There were several subplots and traits for characters other than McClane that were created during the first few weeks because Bruce Willis was still working on Moonlighting. He would film the show for up to 10 hours, then go to work Die Hard at night. McTiernan, I know it's
like it's like Back to the Future. You know, these TV guys, these young guys. Well, he wasn't that young; he was in his 30s.
But
that's an incredibly crazy schedule. But if you think about it too, he's not working that whole 10 hours. He can nap in his trailer, and you know, it's like
working maybe 40 minutes of that 10 hours.
We got a lot of stunt guys.
McTiernan gave Willis time off to rest, and he tasked D'Souza with adding new scenes. This included scenes with Holly's housekeeper, Holly confronting Gruber following Takagi's death, an introductory scene for Thornburg, and more moments between Powell and his fellow officers. It was pretty much anything that he wasn't in, they just added in.
Who put you in charge? What idiot put you in charge? You did. Would it be okay if we put her on the couch?
Silver wanted a scene between McClane and Gruber before the film's denouement, but D'Souza could not think of a plausible scenario until he happened to overhear Alan Rickman affecting an American accent.
Yeah, that was such an awesome part. The tension in that, because you're just like, what's going to happen? Well, you're one of them. You're one of them. Oh my God.
His American accent is so amazing.
God, you're one of them. That is me.
Yeah.
Doing not even doing a British accent, doing an Austrian accent, doing an American accent.
Right.
Man. That's a tough impersonation to do, man. Ooh, my tongue, I think I sprained it.
D'Souza realized this would allow Gruber to disguise himself when he met McClane, and the earlier scene of Takagi's murder was reworked to conceal Gruber's identity from McClane.
It's so smart. Such a great scene, too.
And this is the other brilliant thing about it, is that just by changing that one scene at the beginning, and him not seeing Hans Gruber, like the whole time he's just talking to him on the radio, and like it adds the tension. It's so brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Now I have a machine gun.
In Stewart's original script, Die Hard actually took place over 3 days.
God, that'd be laborious.
But McTiernan was inspired to have it take place over a single night, like in Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Of course, because what are you going to do for 3 days? Is he going to like camp out and sleep in a?
It's not a 3-day party.
Yes.
Like that's going to be ridiculous.
And if they were holding hostages for 3 days, somebody would come.
Yeah,
it
would. Yeah,
you get the FBI. I guess the FBI is there for 3 days. 3 days, come on.
It's ridiculous. Principal photography began in November 1987, concluded by early March in '88, with an approximate $35 million budget.
That's insane. It's insane that they made that for that little bit of money. Because everything is practical.
Everything was practical.
They blew up the top of that building.
They did, and they really pissed off the neighbors.
Yes, they did. But yeah, man, I mean, like, it's crazy what they did.
Yeah.
And that's $5 million of that goes to Willis. So
Bruce,
you're talking about $30 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
know?
I mean, yeah. Filming took place almost entirely
Silver probably took 10.
Oh, God knows.
You know?
And they probably spent 10 on their cocaine budget.
Yep. Okay.
The only reason they could use Fox Plaza was that the two conditions, they couldn't film during the day and they could not damage anything from the explosions.
Yeah. Well, Fox owned the building.
I know, but they still technically the lower half of it was still had offices and people working during the day. Cinematographer Jan de Bont said the building's design was distinct, making it a character in its own. The surrounding city could be seen from within the building, enhancing the realism.
Again, another one of the greatest action DPs of all time.
Yes, Jan de Bont is incredible. He frequently used handheld cameras to film closer to the characters, creating more cinematic intimacy.
Oh yeah, I mean, you really got to know Bruce Willis, and what a tough job for him because he's basically alone most of the time.
Yeah,
just talking into a walkie-talkie, looking for cigs and shoes.
Yeah, in fact, the scene where he is talking to Al and talking about his
pretty
wife,
unappreciated, Al,
and he's benching his feet. That was the reason that he got 12 Monkeys.
Oh wow!
It was the director saw that scene and was like, he needs to be the lead in my movie.
That's awesome. Yeah. Another great movie. Yeah. Terry Gilliam, I think.
Terry Gilliam, thank you. Of. Yes.
Yeah, another amazing movie.
Yeah. But it was because it allowed him to show weakness.
And, Bruce Willis is a really good actor.
He's a great actor. Yeah.
You know, he's another guy like Harrison Ford. Like Harrison Ford shows beat up and bruised like nobody's business.
Yeah.
But he still seems like a hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a Superman, but like a typical Indiana Jones. You know, you could see him in any decade, any movie, anytime. Yeah. He is just like that square jawed.
100%.
Yeah. But Bruce Willis is kind of a mook. He's kind of like this. He's not super ripped in the first one, at least.
No.
He's got his hair is thinning, and he's got that weird mouth, and it's just like
he looks like a cop. He just looks
like a cop.
Exactly.
Yeah. But he also does like authentically beat up.
Yeah.
So well, like he's not afraid to look bad.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of actors are afraid to do,
Yeah.
And I think he's at least then, I don't know now, it's like when they're young and hungry, they're always going to be doing, if they're good, young and hungry, they're going to do great work no matter what they're in. Right. And the performance, it gets discounted because it's an action movie, but the next time you watch Die Hard, really pay attention to the performances of the leads.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they're very authentic. Mm-hmm. In this movie, even though it's outrageous, with the explosions and stuff, the characters, the relationships, the dialogue, it all pretty much rings true.
Yeah, it feels very believable. Very little of the film was storyboarded beforehand because Jan de Bont believes that intricate storyboarding made his job redundant.
Yeah.
So
he's just one of those guys that sees in his head too, and McTiernan's a guy that trusts his DP. As long as he's a no-nonsense guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's grumpy, but he gets.
They would meet in the morning and talk about what they're shooting that day, and they would decide that morning.
Yeah,
and figure out how to shoot it,
which is great because it gives you a spontaneity of getting what you need for that day, rather than like being rigidly. Because look at like. If you look at the other side of the spectrum, then you have Alfred Hitchcock, who everything was meticulously. It was like everything was a painting, and then he recreated that painting in the frame,
right?
Which is great and beautiful, and
yeah.
worked 100% for his films. But on the other side, you have a more spontaneous, a guy that wants to kind of like see how can we get in there,
right,
and really capture the feeling and emotion. Jan de Bont really, I think I said this on another episode, but more than anybody, he uses motion and moving the camera in a way that is part of the story.
Right.
There's no superfluous moves.
No,
there's no like, oh, this would be cool. It has to have a meaning behind it.
Yeah. He uses the camera to help tell the story. Mm-hmm. And this is what until John McTiernan, he was like, I don't really care about it being attractive. I just want to be able to tell the drama.
Right. And that's what makes this stand out more than, all of these little bits come together to make this movie. If it wasn't Jan de Bont shooting it, or if it wasn't Bruce Willis in it, or if it wasn't McTiernan directing it, it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have been the same.
It wouldn't have been great if it might have been a good movie with Sylvester Stallone, but it wouldn't have been a classic that we watch every year.
Right, exactly. Bruce insisted on doing many of his own stunts, despite the new stringent rules stemming from the Twilight Zone accident that happened a few years prior. The first scene Willis shot was him leaping from the roof while attached to the fire hose. Literally his first shot.
Yes, which wasn't from the actual roof.
No, it was from a 25-foot leap, but it was from a 5-story parking garage. I mean, it's
you know, and the guy's not a trained stuntman. He almost missed the bag.
He considered to be one of the toughest stunts. The explosive force pushed him towards the edge of the airbag, and the crew was concerned that he had died.
Oh, that was
literally the first shot of the movie, and they're like, well, we're done.
Well, in that case, it would have been really easy to replace him because they wouldn't have done a lot. You know, it's not
Eric
a whole
Stoltz, yeah.
Eric Stoltz situation when they shoot half the film. We blew him up. Let's bring in Schwarzenegger.
Willis found acting in Die Hard difficult because he was often alone, as you had said, not having any personal encounters with others. He did not spend much time with the rest of the cast between takes, opting to spend it with his new partner, Demi Moore.
Yeah, he's
banging it out in his trailer.
Sure. He's always been a bit of a, his little attitude. But, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
But that's also part of his charm, and that's what, that he's got this kind of devilish, likable devilish spin or something to him. It's a quality, it's a je ne sais quoi. But no, it's a quality that is very rare. It's very rare to be a likable a-hole.
Yeah.
And that's basically who he is.
Yeah, it's true.
Moonlighting, he's just a relentless prick. But he's so charming about it.
Right.
That he can get away with it. And same thing. Now you get to be a grumpy old man looks like a lady, and maybe you can't get away with it as much. But back then, man, it was captivating. He was captivating.
One of my favorite things that Bruce Willis has ever done was his guest stint on Friends.
Oh yeah,
and it's so bizarre because he uses that. I mean, he has almost no lines. He just uses that gravity of like, this is who I am, and then you find out he's just a weirdo.
Yeah,
and it's so funny.
And he was great about poking fun at himself too. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like he may have been an a-hole when he was off screen or whatever, which is fine. Who cares?
Your thing,
but hit the work. He did the work, and
of course he did. Yeah.
Look back at all of his stuff back then, and. He was in some stinkers, but he was never a stinker.
No. It's really too bad now because he's literally in everything and everything you've not heard of and
everything you don't want to see.
Yeah.
He's like Nick Cage in the fact that he'll do 15 horrible, forgettable, straight to streaming movies, and then you got a good one chunked in there, like Pig for
Nick Cage.
Man. Pig was great.
Yeah.
Great. And it reminds you, like, damn, Nick Cage, man.
He's an actor. Yeah.
And you forget because it's like, man, there's 6 new Nick Cage movies on Prime this week. And they all are from 2021. It's like, when do these guys find the time to do it?
No idea.
Willis must have like a ton of alimony payments or something.
I don't know, man, because it seems like a new generic title starring Bruce Willis.
Oh my God, new generic sci-fi movie with Bruce Willis and another D-list star from the 90s.
And he's in it for maybe 20 minutes,
sure.
if that.
Yeah, he's just in it to be like this. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm the general. I'm going to tell you guys, go fight.
When I worked for the International Film Sales Agency, every time, man, we would try to package Bruce Willis into something.
Because he'll do it. He'll come in for 3 days.
You pay him $1 million, he'll work for 2 days, and
sells your movie internationally.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's like these guys do these quick paydays.
Yeah.
Diminish it. It's just a shame because look, do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
If I was given the opportunity, I would take anything.
Yeah.
I would take anything. Anything. No, but you know what I mean? It's like I don't begrudge anybody taking work and doing stuff.
Sure.
It's just he needs to
I wish that he was more picky.
Yeah, it's just a bummer you don't see him. He needs like a really good, gritty TV show. Like on HBO or something. He needs to be
that
like
would be good.
Grizzled, he's a grizzled retired. Okay, Hollywood, here we go.
I see it happening.
Okay. So we got Bruce Willis is a retired profiler for the FBI, and he the last case he did was the serial killer that they never caught.
Yeah,
but now he does cold cases, so he volunteers with this young group of cold case investigators to try to solve these cases, and he gets in this one case, and he realizes this is the serial killer.
It's the case.
They got away.
The one that
this
got away.
kid is in jail for the crime from the serial killer, so he can investigate it again. But it's a series, so you're not going to find the guy in the first season. We'll stretch it out for a couple of seasons, and then we'll come to another serial killer or something. But it's like it gives him a chance to be like gritty and alcoholic or whatever. Oh
and
man,
actually do some acting. Yeah.
And then you call it the cop. no, or just cop. Well, maybe he already did a movie called like
He did.
Yeah,
there was a. I think there was
Cop Out
actually
or something.
Cop
Wasn't that
Out,
the, the Kevin Smith movie? But you call it a Profiled. No, I don't know. You call it Old Man.
In From the Cold.
I don't call it whatever the hell
know.
you want, but you get it for free.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce Willis in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And when this
Yeah.
comes out on Netflix in 2022 or 2023, you're welcome.
So in contrast to Bruce Willis, Bonnie Bedelia, Reginald VelJohnson, and Alan Rickman all hung out together all the time.
Well, sure, they seem like fun people.
They were all just hanging out.
Alan Rickman's probably having a blast. It's his first movie.
Yeah.
You know? Could you imagine? It's like it be at your age.
Well, it was his first American movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Big movie. I mean,
Yeah.
he did a few.
I mean, it
like,
was. Yeah.
I remember that. The movie
He did a bunch of
did
British
where,
stuff,
where
yeah.
he was the ghost, and I
Yeah.
don't remember what that was. The first time I saw him.
Oh, yeah?
Was when he was like.
I don't remember what that is.
It might have even come out afterwards. I don't know, but I remember there was the first thing I really remember him in was, one of the great British actresses of
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
He dies. I was just a girl stalking around him, and he can, and they're still in love. But
right.
she has to let him go,
Right.
so she can move on. I don't want to go, but I think he went at the end. I don't know, but yeah.
Speaking of letting go, there's the famous letting go early Hans Gruber drop.
Oh, yes.
It would be remiss not to mention it. They end up using the first take, but McTiernan actually convinced him to do it twice.
Well, it's never going to work again.
No.
You're never going to get that trick. It's for those of you who don't know, anybody under a rock who doesn't know this, when Alan Rickman did his own drop, he was tethered. And there was a bag,
It was
they didn't
not
drop him
from a building.
no.
It was in a studio,
Yes.
and it was
very safe. But they said they were going to drop him on 3,
Yeah.
and they dropped him on 1. Right?
Oh, I thought they dropped on 2.
Oh, did they? I thought
Yeah,
it
I
was
think
on
it was on
1.
2.
But anyway, so the look on his face is genuine.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they freaked him out. Now, you can't recreate that absolute surprise because he's ready for it. He's like,
Yeah.
he's gonna be flinching, but it's such an
a great shot.
amazing
Yeah.
reaction.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
That shot. Slow mo. It's like a 75-minute shot. Of
In
him falling.
the book, I do know this. In the book, one of the changes they made was that one of Joe Leland's, the main character who became John McClane, one of his daughters falls with him and dies as well.
What's his daughter doing there?
I don't know. This is part of the reason I didn't want to read the book.
Hey, well,
I'm
look,
just
who
like,
cares? His daughter's probably 45 because the
Yeah.
guy's in his 60s. It's
Yeah.
not like it was a little girl.
She wasn't 7.
No, she was unfortunately, she lived with a lot of cats. She had respiratory problems.
Yeah.
So, better off.
The film's ending had not been finalized when they started shooting. They were still trying to figure out how to end it. The scene where Argyle stops Theo by ramming the ambulance with the limo.
I'm going to pick a bone real quick, okay?
Okay.
Argyle.
Okay.
What is it with the 80s and having to name somebody something stupid? Like, have you ever met an Argyle? Has there ever been anybody named Argyle? I did this. I named a guy Cashew. And I was like, why did... And I changed that. Except, well, the reason why his name's Cashew is because his butt was shaped like a cashew, and that was his nickname. You find that out at the end. It was a really cool reveal.
Yeah.
But again, nobody has that name. Nobody has the name Argyle,
Somebody does.
No. Well, maybe now some idiot named their kid Argyle after watching them.
I think it's a British name.
No, it's a type of sock, Adam. Argyle socks.
What? And where do you think that came from, Jim?
From the town of Argyle in London, not London, in England, England. Argyle, England is where they made. And the reason why is because in World War II, they couldn't get enough material to make a solid sock. So they had to put all of these different colors together. So in Argyle, they created the Argyle sock.
100% do not believe anything you're saying right
You shouldn't, because I lied.
Yeah.
But it sounded pretty plausible.
So in the scene...
Hey, Hollywood, here's another movie for you about making Argyles.
No. Incorrect. In the scene where Argyle stops Theo by ramming the ambulance with the limo, Devereaux, the guy who plays Argyle, he actually punched him.
Yeah, and you could see it. Yeah. And they used the tape because he hurt his hand really bad.
He actually punched him. They were given room to improvise.
That's a bad improvisation. Punching a guy. Oh, wait, ouch.
Theo's line, the quarterback is toast. Bachner's hands, booby, I'm your white knight.
The quarterback is toast.
These were all improvised. They were the guy who steals the chocolate bar. Like, this is all improvised.
That was great. Oh, man, and that guy, too. One of the greatest. Always a henchman.
Oh, yeah.
Always a henchman.
Yeah. I have no idea what his name is.
Oh, no, neither do I. We'll have to figure it out. Because he's in 2 of the movies. He was also in Lethal Weapon. He was the guy that electrocuted Riggs.
Yeah.
With the thing.
Yeah.
He was the torturer.
He was. He totally
He has forgotten more about pain and torture than
The funny thing
know.
is that the character's name, even though he was obviously Asian, the character's name was Uli.
Uli.
He was German. In the movie, he was German.
He was great. And, and that one guy, the quarterback is toast.
Yeah.
What a voice.
Theo. Yeah, he was
Theo,
great.
man.
He was great. Michael Kamen scored the movie. He mixed the melodies of Ode to Joy, Winter Wonderland, and Singing in the Rain into a score.
Again, perfect.
Yeah.
Again, without the climactic rum bum 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 is so perfect for this movie. It adds so much gravitas.
It was done in lower keys to make it sound more menacing.
Oh yeah,
it's brilliant. It was just absolutely brilliant, and it builds up to when they finally open the vault, and it's the full symphony.
It is so brilliantly done. Yeah. Again, the recipe, all the ingredients for this movie is just you couldn't have picked a better mix. I can't think of anything that's out of place in this movie.
No. The end of the movie when Carl attempts to kill McClane, and then Reginald Val Johnson has to shoot him. McTiernan didn't like the piece of music that Michael Kamen wrote, so they used a piece of temporary music, which was part of an unused score by James Horner for Aliens.
Nice.
It's actually in the movie.
Nice. This is a scene too. Like I said before, like everything was solved with violence.
Yeah.
All of these movies, all of them, have one of the bad guys rises from the dead or rises from.
It's a very horror movie trope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it gives. I just love. This is so 80s, man. That the cop's redemption is that he could kill again. I learned to kill again. Thank you, John McClane, for helping me. I killed a kid
because
I couldn't kill anymore because I killed a child. But now I can kill again, and I can get off this Twinkie route and get back to being an LAPD officer
shooting people.
Yes, shooting people all the time. I love it. So 80s, man.
So Die Hard was released. It ended up grossing around $140 million.
Got my money.
The film never was number 1 at the box office, but it did spend 10 straight weeks in the top 5. It stayed in. Yeah, it had long legs. It was nominated for 4 Academy Awards: Best Film Editing, Best Visual Effects, Best Sound Effects Editing, and Best Sound. It lost the first 3 to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and lost the sound to the movie Bird.
Yeah, Bird. Clint Eastwood, great movie.
Yeah,
and Roger Rabbit. You can't compete.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. That was a juggernaut.
Oh my God, that was like. That was a revelation.
Yeah, I think that's why Die Hard was never number 1. Because I'm pretty sure Roger Rabbit was.
What a great year for movies that year too, man. I mean, the '80s just consistently had these great years filled with these classic blockbusters.
Fantastic movies. Being able to go. We talked about this during Gremlins and the fact that it was open during everything else.
Dude, theater bouncing back then was a joy.
Yeah,
because it was just blockbuster.
A third-person shooter video game.
You should never do.
Oh, no, you shouldn't. You should pay for everything.
Back then, movies were only 66 cents, so it didn't really hurt anybody. But now that movies are $450, don't go jumping.
Don't do it.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and
the lakes that you used to know. A third-person shooter video game, Die Hard, was released in 1989 for the Commodore 64 and Windows.
Yeah, that thing, man, the Commodore 64 held on like a mother.
It's crazy that it's still, Different top-down shooter versions released for the TurboGrafx 16 and the NES. The TurboGrafx 16 edition begins with McClane fighting terrorists in a jungle.
Yeah.
The NES version offers
because they just reskinned Contra.
Yeah. The NES version offers a foot meter that slows McClane's movements after he repeatedly steps on shattered
I think I
glass.
had this. I'm pretty sure I had
I'm pretty sure I played it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever actually owned it, but
I had the trilogy one, I think, that they ended up making. Didn't they have one?
that was the Die Hard trilogy. Came out in 1996.
Yeah.
It was for the PlayStation. It adapted the first 3 Die Hard movies.
Yeah, I think my friend. I never had the PlayStation. I didn't come on to the PlayStation bandwagon until the PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I remember my friend, I think, had the Die Hard game.
The one that I really remember was a Die Hard arcade, which was in 1997. It was a Japanese arcade game. Dynamite Dika was redesigned and released in Western territories as Die Hard Arcade. You got to choose either playing John McClane or a secondary character named Chris Thompson.
Yeah, you remember Chris.
To battle through Nakatomi Plaza, defeat terrorists led by White Fang, and rescue the president's daughter.
Okay, look, Chris Thompson was the guy on the plane that told him to ball his toes on the carpet.
Oh, okay.
And in the movie, in the original script, he was gonna come to the party with him. He's like, "Why don't you come with me? We'll have a few drinks. We'll have some laughs."
Oh, yeah.
And then they repurposed that for when he was in one of the tubes or whatever you call them, the ducts.
The ducts, the air ducts. Yeah.
But so he was supposed to come, and he was gonna give him his shoes. He was gonna be at the party, and he was gonna be like,
"Here's your shoes."
He forgot his shoes. And he saw him in the office. He comes in his bursts in. He's like, he forgot his shoes. So the whole time, McClane is running around killing everybody. This guy's running around behind him trying to get him his shoes, and he accidentally kills a few people too.
Sir, your shoes, sir.
Exactly. It was a little convoluted, so that's why they cut it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah.
But it was cool that they included him in the game.
That was it. Would have been more true to the book.
Yes. Yes. The guy had a foot fetish. The one that wrote the book.
Ugh.
Was it he had a little Tarantino.
Was it written by Quentin Tarantino? Yeah. 2 first-person shooters were released in 2002, Die Hard Nakatomi Plaza, which recreates the events of Die Hard, and Die Hard Vendetta, which serves as a narrative sequel to the film, pitting McClane against Gruber's son, Piet.
Ooh, I don't think I played these.
I didn't either. I didn't even realize.
I can't believe I didn't.
I don't have to look up and see what they were actually on. I'm thinking they were just PC games. Yeah. I don't think they were console games.
I've always been a console gamer.
Same. Movie spawned 4 sequels. None of them quite as good as the original.
No. Okay. So 2 okay. 3 really good. I love 3. 3 I think.
But that's
4. I love 4. I thought
4 with Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, I thought Olyphant was great. I thought Maggie Q. I thought Maggie Q was great.
Yeah.
I thought that the little nerdy kid from Galaxy Quest, Justin Long.
Justin Long
as the boy. I thought it was just it had good pairings. I thought Kevin Smith was funny. And then that's when they were like, hey, let's make a movie together. And then they hated each other for the rest of their lives. But it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie. What the hell? It was a really fun movie, I thought. I really liked all the characters. I liked the whole conceit of it, with the computers and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It was an interesting concept.
It was
fun. And it was...
It lost me the one... I didn't have any fun with the Russian one. That's when I was
the
out.
5th movie was
because it was joyless, and no offense to Jai Courtney.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of him.
Is it Jai or Jay?
Jay, I don't know. Jai Courtney, named after Jai Courtney, who's okay. I'll give him props. He was great as Boomerang. I really liked him as Boomerang in the Suicide Squad movies. But in this movie, I didn't like him as John McClane's kid. I didn't like the whole Russian thing, and then the tank stuff. It was just so...
The movie...
It was joyless.
It was too...
big.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's no way that he could just show up in Moscow and take over the city, and the whole thing didn't make sense.
It was dumb. It was just too big. This is the problem. Adam, I'm so angry. No, but
as I am personally responsible for Hollywood.
Yes, you are. People don't know this. Write your letters. This is the problem. You start with a movie that is small, contained, and is personal. Yeah, there's big stuff. There's helicopters and the FBI, but it all fits. None of it is way over the top. All of it could pretty much happen.
That's all background.
Yes, I mean, it's all background to it. Basically, a story about a guy getting back together with his wife,
right,
and stopping
trying to.
2 got away from it, got a little too big.
Too big.
And,
I'm not
the
a fan
villain,
of 2.
not a fan of the villains
It's
either.
forgettable. It's forgettable.
It's just like, wasn't it like military guys who they
Yeah.
pretended were dead, but they were. It was so convoluted and dumb.
Yeah.
And then 3, you got back to kind of a personal story with Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
And him having to solve these problems.
And it tied in with the first
Jeremy
villain.
Irons was a great villain.
It tied in with the story of the
And it
first
had the
story.
great little twisteroo where he doesn't really give a crap about the revenge. It was so great. I mean, it harkened back to the first one to me.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought Sam Jackson and
It was
Bruce Willis had an amazing chemistry. He's all hungover at the beginning, and the whole racist.
Yeah.
It was just so well done. I think that to me is the second best.
Agreed.
You know?
100%.
And then 4, like I said, super fun, little big, but also contained. It was a story of him and Justin Long. You know, it was basically, if you break it down, it's him meeting his daughter's boyfriend.
Right,
you know, in
right.
the most messed up way possible. But that's why it didn't work after that, because it wasn't a personal thing about him and his son, or him having the rest of his son. Somehow his son is some great superhero, super guy too. You know, it's just like, come on, the guy's a New York cop.
I will say the end of the 4th movie, that's when it lost it for me. When he started flying the plane, like it was, the ending just got too big.
When he like fell on the jet.
It was just too much. But
yes, but it's still,
that being said, it was still fun.
Yes, and I
still had
think
a good time with it.
Like, I liked when they jumped out of the car and shot it up into the helicopter. I thought that was super cool. I love that bit.
Yeah.
That gag was awesome. Yeah, it was, but it wasn't. You're right. It's like the only movie that could get away with somebody jumping on a jet and squirreling around is that Arnie movie, True Lies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But that makes sense in the story. I mean, it makes sense.
Plus, it's one of those crazy big.
And True Lies is incredible.
But and I'm gonna say no more. We're done. No more. Unless you want to do like a really small personal thing where he's like if you actually make almost the book,
right?
You know, this kind of washed up guy in his 60s. Who's like a security guard, and something happens and he has to do it, you know, or make it a comedy. I don't know. But I don't think, you know, nobody's going to buy this old man, you know, bust. You know, what is it going to be? Like, how much bigger can it be? I don't know if they're making another one. Do you know?
I don't think so. I mean, I think they had bandied the idea about, but I think they just, he's too old.
They did like a Die Hard Battery.
Yeah, last Christmas or Christmas before.
So. Oh, man, they keep doing
it was like a short film. Yeah.
They keep doing these awful short films around Christmas where they try to bring back E.T. or Gremlins or Die Hard.
Marketing is lazy.
Yeah, but if you're going to do it, do it. Like, I don't care. Like,
I know.
They've done it before where it's like, it's great. You know?
Yeah.
It's fun, and, you know, you don't care if it's a commercial. You know, it works. But it's just like, you can't force nostalgia.
No.
Don't we know it?
Yeah.
You can't. Die Hard, the reason why we watch it every year is because it's a perfect movie.
It is 100% perfect movie.
And to two cynics, look, I love Christmas specials. We talked about it on the Stepdad Show, the Rankin and Bass stuff, the Snoopy, the Snoopies.
Get you some Snoops.
Awesome stuff, but it's not Christmas to me unless I watch Die Hard.
Yeah, same.
That's the one thing I cannot miss. I have gone years without seeing the Charlie Brown Christmas. I've gone years without seeing the stuff, but I have not missed a viewing
of
Die Hard.
Every Christmas Eve. So fire it up tonight. Get your Die Hard on.
Okay, here's what we're gonna. Okay, let's talk about a sandwich. We got Die Hard. What do you think goes? Should we go Die Hard and Die Hard? Well, Die Hard 2 takes place at Christmas too, doesn't it?
Yeah. But the third one doesn't. But it doesn't matter.
No. Let's
not
just
Die
watch
Hard
Die
2.
Hard.
Just
watch Die Hard, and then like maybe some Rankin and Bass stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe Last Action Hero or something.
Oh, there you go.
Pop That's something. Get another big old movie in there.
True Lies.
Oh yeah. True Lies. Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Be safe out there, and we'll be back next week with some another Stepdad show.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about the year and what's coming up.
Our New Year's show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, and don't be naughty. They paid me what they thought I was worth for the film, and for them, Oh, Jesus, let me do that again.
Yeah.
Somebody can't read. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming, Charlie's Angels, already in progress.